Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Okay, so today's November 5th, 2024. It's the anniversary of Srila Prabhupada's Disappearance Day. Srila Prabhupada's Disappearance Day. And so we'll read from a biography called Srila Prabhupada Lilamrta as it is. It's hundreds of pages about Srila Prabhupada speaking about different aspects of his own life, kind of like Srila Prabhupada's biography in his own words, from his childhood to middle pastimes to, well, there's an Anshalila, final pastimes. So since today's the Disappearance Day, we can look there. Omongana Timirandasya Gananjana Shalakaya Chakshur Unmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurve Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Mano Bishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Svayam Upakadamayam Dadati Svapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shruta Kamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavam Sta Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Saganaragnatam Vitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Sadvadutam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Badans Lalita Shri Vishakhavitam Chahe Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dina Bandhu Jagat Pate Gopisha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurange Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Rishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamame Haripre Vanchakalpatu Yubhyashcha Kripa Sindhu Bhyevacha Patitanan Pavane Pyo Vaishnave Vyo Namo Namaha. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadara Shri Vasari Gaura Bhaktivinoda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prastaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Niti Namine Namaste Sarasvati Devi Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Desha Tarine. So this is okay. Hello, Rosa. Welcome. Glad to see you. Welcome. This is Bhakti Rosa.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Yeah. This is Naveen Krishna Prabhu. Yeah. Come on in. And should we? Yeah. Good. All right. So today's Hare Krishna, welcome.
Ladies can sit here.
Okay. Today's Srila Prabhupada's Disappearance Day. He disappeared actually on November 14th, 1977. And in one sense, it can seem like a contradiction, a disappearance pastime. At the same time, we know we have experience like everyone here in your household, in your life. Srila Prabhupada is the most important personality that you're associating with. Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur wrote a poem. He reasons ill who tells that Vaishnavas die when thou art living still in sound. Vaishnavas die to live, and living try to spread the holy name around. So actually all spirit souls never die. And particularly we're talking here about the pure devotee of God. The pure devotee of God is fully alive, fully present in their vibration, in their instructions. That vibration instructions, that's called the Vani form of the pure devotee. And also in the Vapu is the physical form. So we could say that in November 1977, there was a particular form of Vapu that went into of Srila Prabhupada that went into an unmanifest form. Still, Srila Prabhupada in his pictures and his Murti forms is fully 100% alive and present. So all of the pastimes of Srila Prabhupada, all of his activities, we refer to them as pastimes, not merely activities, like the ordinary activities of a conditioned soul that are pushed and pulled by material desires, but rather these are pastimes in language we sometimes use. It's all full get to, no have to, full, like for pure devotees of God, like Jesus or Srila Prabhupada or Srila Bhaktisiddhanta. They're choosing to come here to co-create a mission out of compassion with Sri Krishna, the personality of Godhead. So all of their activity, that's why technically speaking, we don't say the birth and death of Srila Prabhupada or Krishna. We'll call it the appearance or the disappearance to distinguish that from birth, death, or other activities driven by desires enmeshed in the modes of material nature. So the disappearance pastime, like all of Srila Prabhupada's pastimes, completely transcendental, meaning transcendental to the material modes of nature, and it's a full, loving, co-created expression in relationship with Sri Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So we're reading here from a book entitled Srila Prabhupada Lilamrta as it is. And basically this is hundreds of pages of Srila Prabhupada's comments on his own life. This one is a room conversation, May 3rd, 1976 in Honolulu, Hawaii. And Srila Prabhupada says, this is our position. Gradually they will show Hare Krishna movement. In India also, although India's, they will want to crush down this movement. So this will be up to him, Krishna's movement, the same thing. And Krishna was attempted to be killed by Kamsa, class of men, and his company, the demons. So it will be there. It is already there. Don't be disappointed, because that is the meaning, that it is successful. Krishna's favor is there because Krishna and Krishna's movement is not different, non-different, identical. So as Krishna was attempted to be killed many, many years before he appeared at 8th child, if the mother produces child yearly, still 10 years, 8 years before his birth, the mother's was to be attempted to be killed. So there may be attempt like that. And Lord Jesus Christ was killed. So they may kill me also. Srila Prabhupada said that in Hawaii, May 3rd, 1976. Prabhupada knew what was going on. So, interesting. So we can see that in sharing process and philosophy of self-realization and bhakti yoga, Krishna consciousness, we endeavor to do our best to be Jesus-like, to do it with a pure heart and gentleness, full courage, full fearlessness. We aspire towards that, and in a sattvic, respectful way. And we can see that even those who dedicate their lives to share God consciousness and self-realization and Krishna consciousness with complete purity, like Srila Prabhupada or Jesus, it's not that, well, it is that many are disturbed. Now, if people get disturbed by our attempts to share the principles and philosophy and practice of spiritual life, we want to look at, okay, what is it about me that it provoked that? And we want to learn from the experience. At the same time, Prabhupada's emphasizing here that even those, like he gives the example of Jesus or Haridas Thakur, even those who were completely pure in their heart in communicating and sharing, well, they also faced disturbance and difficulty to the point where Jesus Christ was crucified. And so Prabhupada said, so they may kill me also. So continuing here, I'll just mention, some of you are familiar with some of the details of the pastimes of Srila Prabhupada's disappearance pastime. One thing I'll say I feel happy about is if we look at the disappearance pastime of Srila Prabhupada today, compared to 1 year ago, I do believe that there is more awareness of the facts and realities of that past time compared to a year ago. And our hope, wish, and prayer and intention is that a year from now, and 5 years, and 10 years from now, that the facts of that past time will be more and more known. And of course, and I know myself, since 1997, I began to really explore about Srila Prabhupada's disappearance pastime. And I can say for sure that my awe and admiration and appreciation for Srila Prabhupada's sublime, amazing transcendental qualities have increased more and more the more I enter into his unfathomable consciousness as exhibited in his disappearance pastime. Hare Krishna. Next, this is a Srimad Bhagavatam lecture in Mayapur, February 28th, 1977. Now, the previous one we read from Hawaii, May 3rd, 1976. According to the evidence, it seems that could be actually the month that the poisoning began, and for sure it began, by this month, February 28th, 1977. Now, Srila Prabhupada, he's saying in Srimad Bhagavatam lecture, Canto 7, Chapter 9, Text 8. Prabhupada says, a snake quality man is very dangerous. Chanakya Pandit has said, Sarpa Krura Kala Krura, Sarpat Krura Tara Kala, Mantrel Shadi Basha Sarpa, Kalo Hinan Nivaryate. Quote, there are two envious living entities. One is a snake, black snake, and one is a human being with the quality of black snake. He cannot see any good thing. Sarpa Kura. The snake is envious. Without any fault, he bites. A snake is there on the street, and if you happen to pass by him, he becomes so angry. Immediately he bites. So this is the snake's nature. Similarly, there are persons like the snake. Without any fault, they will accuse you. They are also snakes. So Chanakya Pandit says that this black snake is less harmful than the man snake. Why? Now, this black snake, by chanting some mantra or by some herb, you can bring him under control. But this man snake, you cannot. It is not possible. So there will be, Prabhupada's going on, he quotes Chanakya Pandit, then he goes on and says, well, one thing, in the spirit of humble introspection, we get to look at where in my heart am I holding on to snake-like qualities, just envious rather than pure-hearted, and looking to give poison and bring others down just because I'm so dissatisfied internally. So Prabhupada continues and he says, so there will be. So there are these snake-like persons. They are envious about our movement and they are opposing. That is the nature. Prahlad Maharaj also was opposed by his father, what to speak of others. These things will happen, but we should not be disappointed, as Prahlad Maharaj never became disappointed, although he was teased in so many ways. And this verse that Prabhupada is lecturing on, it is from the 7th canto, 9th chapter, where Prahlad Maharaj is offering prayers of devotion to his to Lord Nrsingadev. Okay. But we should not be disappointed, as Prahlad Maharaj never became disappointed, although he was teased in so many ways. He was also served with poison. He was thrown amongst the serpents, and he was thrown from the hill. He was put under the feet of elephants. In so many ways, put Therefore, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has instructed us that do not be disappointed, kindly forbear. Trinadapi sunechena tarur api sahishnuna. Be tolerant more than the tree. I mean to say, one shall be meek and humble more than the grass. These things will happen in one life if we execute our Krishna consciousness attitude. Even there is suffering little, don't mind. Go on with Krishna consciousness. Don't be disappointed or hopeless, even there is some trouble. That is encouraged by Krishna in Bhagavad Gita. Agamapaino nichas tams titikshas bharata. My dear Arjuna, even if you feel some pain, this bodily pain, it comes and goes. Nothing is permanent. So don't care for these things. Go on with your duty. This is the instruction of Krishna. Prahlad Maharaj is the practical example. And our duty is to follow the footprints of such person like Prahlad Maharaj. So we should always depend on Krishna's assurance in any circumstances, any dangerous position. Krishna, Avasya Rakshibe Krishna Vishvasapalana. This is surrender. Surrender means one of the item is full faith in Krishna, that in execution of my devotional service, there may be so many dangers, but because I have taken shelter of Krishna's lotus feet, I am safe. This faith for Krishna, samashritaye padapalava plava, mahat padam punya yasho murare bhavam budir, vatsa padam param padam 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 yad vipadam natesham padam padam yad vipadam nashtesham. We just referenced that verse yesterday in speaking with Danielle and George. Padam padam yad vipadam natesham. Vipadam means dangerous position. Padam padam, every step in this material world, natesham, not for the devotee. So at every step in the material world is filled with danger and risk, and kind of like to kind of get on and try to get along in material life means we need to intoxicate ourselves in some way to try to evade and avoid that reality, the context. Every step is fraught with terrible dangers, and so at least anyone who I've ever encountered, certainly including myself, experiences struggle. Sometimes when the struggle is relatively less, we think, oh, that's happiness. That's survival, not actual thriving and living. It's not the positive bliss of the soul engaged in self-realization and bhakti devotion to Krishna. And so everyone's struggling, and then it certainly is, oh, well, if we come to Krishna consciousness, then there's no more struggle. That's actually not true. At the same time, I would say, yeah, it's actually not true. But then there's futile struggle. I'm reminded of a quote from a Shakespeare character. A Shakespeare character, I think in Macbeth, said, life is a tale told by an idiot, full of sound and fury, signifying nothing. Okay, so maybe we can read, full of sound and fury. Life is just a blabbering idiot. Okay, so that's the futile struggle. Now, if we come to dedicate ourselves, atato brahma jigyasa, jivasya tattva jigyasa, nartayasya karmami. If we come to dedicate ourselves to self-realization, Krishna consciousness, cultivating it and sharing it, then still there's struggle. That, though, that's a worthwhile struggle. That's a fulfilling struggle that enriches our character and our life and brings us closer and closer to the original joy that is our birthright as spirit souls. And so Srila Prabhupada is emphasizing here that in any circumstance, he gave the example earlier of Jesus. Here he's giving the example of Prahlad Maharaj, that yeah, there's going to be materially, there's going to be happiness and distress. Prabhupada references the Bhagavad Gita verse, Matras Parshas tu konteya shitoshna sukadukadagama paino nichas tams titikshas vabharata. Happiness and stress and distress, whether in our health, in our career, in our finances, in our relationship, that's going to come and go. That's going to be there. And let's not get distracted by the happiness or discouraged by the distress. Let's continue in the line of Srila Prabhupada and Prahlad Maharaj and Jesus. Let's continue with, so what Krishna is emphasizing there in Bhagavad Gita, to continue with steady determination to go for the real happiness. That's the happiness of the soul. That's absolute happiness that the material fluctuations cannot touch and cannot take away. And so to be steady in that. Okay. So on May 17th, 1977, Srila Prabhupada arrived again. He arrived in Vrindavan and he gave an arrival speech. And in that arrival speech, Srila Prabhupada says, "So I cannot speak. I am feeling very weak. I was to go to other places like Chandigarh program, but I canceled the program because the condition of my health is very deteriorating. So I prefer to come to Vrindavan. If death takes place, let it take here, so there is nothing to be said new. Whatever I have to speak, I have spoken in my books." I'll say that one again. Whatever I have to speak, I have spoken in my books. Now you try to understand it and continue your endeavor. Whether I am present or not present, it doesn't matter. As Krishna is living eternally, similarly, living being also lives eternally. But kirtiryasya sajivati, one who has done service to the Lord, lives forever. So you have been taught to serve Krishna, and with Krishna will live eternally. Our life is eternal. Hanyate hanyamane sharire. Our life is eternal. A temporary disappearance of this body, it doesn't matter. Body is meant for disappearance. Tata dehantara praptir. So live forever by serving Krishna. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna. Yeah, so the soul goes on forever. And then in the human form of life, to quote Teilhard de Chardin, we're not human beings having a spiritual experience. We're spiritual beings having a human experience. And in the human form, we get to practice our eternal activity. Our eternal activity is to serve God with love and devotion. And we get to practice that here under the guidance of one such as Srila Prabhupada, who is expert, who's a master at it. That's why we use the term spiritual master. And so, and because the nature of the spirit soul is to be attached. Often there's a lot of talk, oh, be detached, be detached. Our intrinsic nature, though, is to be attached. Our choice is whether to be attached to matter or spirit. So we're going to be attached to material activities or spiritual activities. Spiritual activities means bhakti, serving God with love and devotion. To the extent that we have any attachment or even attraction to material activities, means those which have a beginning and an end, then those desires will force us. Hare Krishna, Mother Savior. Hare Krishna. Nice to see you. To the extent we have attachment to material activities, then those desires will take the soul and we'll get another material body, and that embarrassing condition, forced to be trapped in a body subject to birth, death, old age, disease, shame, embarrassment, etc., etc. And our opportunity in the human form is to transfer the unavoidable propensity for attachment to be attached to nothing other than to serve God with love and devotion. Then, at the time of the body's decomposition and death, then we're not forced to take another material body. Such a pure devotee might choose to appear on a mission from God, like Srila Prabhupada or Jesus, but we won't be forced into another material body. And then we simply get to continue to do what we've done in this body, serve Krishna with love and devotion. And so this body is an opportunity to practice and cultivate mastery in bhakti, which is the eternal activity of the soul. Just like here, we're hearing about the pastimes, particularly the disappearance pastime of the pure devotee of God, Srila Prabhupada. And in our eternal life, in the soul, in pure bliss and self-realization, what does the soul do? It hears about the pastimes of Krishna and Krishna's pure devotees. So we're doing that now. We're practicing and developing that attachment. Now, in the letter that Srila Prabhupada wrote to Guru Kripa from Vrindavan on May 18th, 1977, Srila Prabhupada writes, I was staying at Rishikesh hoping to improve my health, but instead I've become a little weaker. Now I have come back to my home, Vrindavan. If anything should go wrong, at least I will be here in Vrindavan. Vrindavan is for residence. Bombay is office for organization, and Mayapur is for worship of the Supreme Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Very special comment there from Srila Prabhupada. He's saying Vrindavan is his home, and Bombay is his office, and Mayapur is his temple. So very interesting there. Prabhupada says on May 28th, 1977, yes, no, I am very much confident of this medicine because nobody is prepared to die, but I am prepared to die. That much strength I have got. Generally, people do not like to die, but I will be very glad to die if Krishna wants. And I shall stay with you. I have no objection either way, but I am not afraid of death. That much strength I have got. Why shall I be afraid? Okay. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. Okay. So this is a room. Should we put some cushions around for seats and things?
Most of the people may not be that comfortable on the floor.
I see.
We're not poor people anymore.
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. Okay.
Okay. Well, then
All right. So we're reading from Srila Prabhupada, Lilamrta as it is, about the Ansha Lila. And yes, so this is a room conversation, August 17th, 1977, in Vrindavan. Prabhupada says, Prashadam, and remain here for some time. Of course, according to my horoscope, these days are my last days. But if Krishna saves, that's a different thing. They have calculated 82 years and 2 days. Tamal Krishna says, 81 years, 5 months, and 28 days. Prabhupada says, that is according to calculation of my horoscope, 81 years will be completed and 82nd year will begin. It doesn't matter. I leave this body. Even in death, I'll live. 1 year before or 1 year after. Now, as far as possible, I have trained you. Try to follow the principles and go ahead. Don't be set back by Maya's tricks. Go ahead, forward at any cost. Bhaktivinoda Thakur said, so many obstacles are coming. Maya is strong, and still we are going forward. That's all right. Devotees say, Jai Srila Prabhupada.
Jai Prabhupada.
Jai Srila Prabhupada. Okay. October 2nd, 1977, in Vrindavan. Vrindavan is, it's It's a place, it's known as the land of Krishna. It's in Uttar Pradesh, India. It's a transcendental sphere. So Prabhupada says, in this condition, even I cannot move my body on the bed. Only chance you should give me, let me die a little peacefully without any anxiety. I have given in writing everything, whatever you wanted, my will, my executive power, everything. Disaster will happen if you cannot manage it. So Prabhupada's saying again and again, he's given us everything. Prabhupada is emphasizing he's living forever. He's fully present in his books and his sound vibration. Of course, Prabhupada also established before his disappearance pastime the establishment of his Morti form. And so Prabhupada's existing eternally in Bani and Vapu forms. Otherwise, if Prabhupada is not present in Vapu forms, such as his Morti in picture, the question can be asked, what are we doing? And the answer would be, well, that would be idol worship, worshiping something as spiritual that's actually material. That's the essence of idol worship, right? When God chastised the Jewish people for worshiping the golden calf, you're worshiping something material as if it's spiritual, and as if it's spiritual. And so the forms, the pictures of God, Krishna, and God's pure devotees, that just like the name of God and the pure devotee is non-different from God himself, Namo Chintamani Krishnas, Chaitanya Rasa Vigraha, Purna Shuddho Nityamukto, Binavan Namino. That's why when we chant Hare Krishna, when we chant any bona fide name of God, then we're associating with Krishna personally.
Can I show you a
Yeah.
new Vapu form
Oh, sure.
of Srila Prabhupada?
Please.
You heard of this?
Yeah.
Somebody called me this morning about it.
Yeah, they're going to the Russian devotees are
Yeah.
making a gift
Yep.
to all of Prabhupada's disciples
Nice.
of this little murti they put together in this beautiful box.
Oh. Oh, pretty. I saw them advertising to sign up to
It's
receive
portable.
one.
Yeah,
I think I did sign up to
and
receive one.
I forgot the story, but there's wood here. This is underneath this tree, and I forgot the story of this wood here. Wait, hold it. Very heavy.
Yeah, okay.
Oh, it's solid
Heavy.
brass?
Yeah.
Let me see. Have they giving a gift to a Srila Prabhupada with this? Like
So-
How do we
someone-
sign up?
You have to sign up to receive one.
Yeah,
Ah,
They what, 6 months ago or so, like, everybody wanted, they were collecting names, all the Prabhupada
Yes.
Murti, the Prabhupada disciples everywhere for this. And so they passing it out there. There's one devotee, I told him I was coming here to bring yours. He wants to deliver them personally to everybody. This devotee, Russian devotee, he flew all the way to Vrindavan to pick them up.
Yeah.
Only in a day and a half later, flew all the way back so he could be here
Wow.
today
Wow.
to do this. So, very beautiful.
Jai Srila
The
Prabhupada.
name is on there, yeah.
Yeah, Dhira called me about it and said he was gonna bring it over. It's beautiful, thank you.
Thank you, Daneshwar. Thank you.
It's so beautiful. And what they did, they designed, they said they used AI somehow. They took all these different pictures of Prabhupada, right? And I don't know how it made the mold, but somehow or other AI was used to get the perfect image of Srila Prabhupada.
It's really good. Combining
Yeah.
all the different
Gorgeous.
images.
Yeah.
Detail.
Very beautiful. I see.
So I missed the first chance to sign up, so how do I do that? Is it on Facebook? Because I'm not. on Facebook.
I don't know. I don't know.
Person have a telephone number or an email?
Yeah,
I think I saw a code on the other side of that
Hmm.
box.
There's that, but I don't know where that goes. Oh,
May
wait,
I?
there's a web ad, what's down below there? Can you read that?
www.giftprabhupada.com. And I think if you
There you
scan
go.
this.
Hare Krishna.
And they they did this because the devotee who brought them, he said, and this is culture, right? The Russians have culture more than we do. And he said, it's so important to honor
Yeah,
those who carried the movement forward to us
yeah.
and brought it to us today. So that's what they wanted to do.
Truly honoring the elders.
Yeah.
Honoring the elders.
Yeah. Yeah, and they're very, so, in that regard, because I spent 5 years preaching in, no, more than that, probably 8, 9 years preaching in Russian speaking countries.
Ukraine and that. Yeah.
Yeah, and so I tell all God brothers, God sisters, just go there.
Yeah.
You don't have to be a preacher. You go there, they will honor you, they'll take care of you. They just want to sit. They'll sit and hear from you, whatever you have to say. It's wonderful.
Mhm. Special.
Yeah.
Thanks
Okay.
for
It says on the website I visited that the silhouette of the tree depicted on the box includes sawdust from the actual tree under which Srila Prabhupada was born. And the metal alloy of the Murti includes coins, which were donated to the Sankirtan devotees for Srila Prabhupada's books. They were collected from 25 countries, which were personally visited by Srila Prabhupada. So it seems that this is a very special Murti. And also, I just want to say that I feel like this is a very special gathering. I've attended a few Srila Prabhupada disappearance celebrations in the, not that many years that I've been doing this. And I have had this Srila Prabhupada Lilamrta as it is for some time now, sitting on Srila Prabhupada's shelf. And I've never opened it. And I feel that somehow I feel like he's speaking to me. I feel like he's speaking about things in my life. I love hearing. I love actually being on this medium of virtual conversation is very tender for me
yeah.
because that's how I hear from Srila Prabhupada. I never met him. And hearing all of you guys in the background, it feels very loving and appropriate to have all of the devotees, with him, hearing from him, and then hearing from each of you, in connection with him. It feels like he's really here. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna
Thank you.
Bhakti Daniel.
Thank you for those details. Yeah, that was nice. I'd forgotten that.
Thanks for your sharing. I'm very moved by your sharing. And yeah, actually, years back, maybe like 2012, 2014, we were reading from this regularly, like before jop at morning programs, but it's been a while since I've read from this. And so hearing you share about Team Danielle, I'm realizing how much I'm touched and experiencing Prabhupada's presence in his words here. So Prabhupada fully present in his words, in his form. And so in a room conversation, October 3rd, 1977 in Vrindavan, Prabhupada says, so far that he said that life is finished and you are simply still living by the grace of Krishna. And there is still life, let us try it. Now he is coming, ask him daily that. Tamal Krishna says, yes, he speaks English. He spoke with me in English. I think he speaks some English, the Kaviraj, a little bit. So you feel a little hopeful? Prabhupada says, for me, either live or die, I don't mind. But if you are trying for my life, try it very seriously. That is my formula. No negligence. Whatever he advises, that is good. Okay.
Comment?
Yeah, sure.
So I was at Gitanagari Farm
Yeah,
at that time. And Gitanagari Farm was the New York Temple Farm.
yeah,
And of course, no internet, the only way, is phone call where you can hardly hear anything.
it was in 1977.
Right,
Yeah.
but what would happen was devotees who were in Vrindavan, they would come to
Yeah.
New York, that would be the landing place. Then they'd give a class, they'd record that, and we had cassette tapes, and then those were shared everywhere. And then some of them, they came to Gitanagari to also give the same
Yeah.
point. So there's, I have several cassettes. One is Srila Prabhupada decides to leave,
Yeah,
and that's about, like Prabhupada was saying, I don't know if you read it yet, but Prabhupada was saying at 1.12, everything I have to do, I've done,
yeah,
so time for me to go. And then the devotees were just completely in anxiety and remorse and crying,
Yeah.
Prabhupada, don't leave, don't leave. And then I've got another tape, Srila Prabhupada decides to stay. So after they were begging him like that for some time, then Prabhupada said, Krishna's leaving it up to me. I can go or I can stay.
yeah.
And so they said, Prabhupada, please stay, please stay. And Prabhupada said, very nonchalantly, very almost whimsically, oh, okay, bring me something to eat.
Hare Krishna. Jai Srila Prabhupada. Thank you for sharing. Thank you for sharing. We feel your heart, we feel Prabhupada's presence in your sharing. And, okay. I'm going to continue reading something from Srila Prabhupada. And this is Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 3, Chapter 4, Text 25. And this is Srila Prabhupada's purport there. Srila Prabhupada writes, in this age of Kali, real religious propaganda should induce people to chant the Hare Krishna Mahamantra. This is possible for someone who is especially empowered by Krishna. No one can do this without being especially favored by Krishna. Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Sarasvati Thakur comments in this regard in his Anubhasya, wherein he quotes a verse from Narayana Samhita. Dvapariyar Janer Vishnu Pancharatrais tu Kevalai Kalar tu Namamatrena Pujate Bhagavan Hari. In Dwapar Yuga, devotees of Lord Vishnu and Krishna rendered devotional service according to the principles of Pancharatrik. In this age of Kali, the Supreme Personality of Godhead is worshipped simply by the chanting of his holy names. Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Sarasvati Thakur then comments, without being empowered by the direct potency of Lord Krishna to fulfill his desire and without being specifically favored by the Lord, no human being can become the spiritual master of the whole world. He certainly cannot succeed by mental concoction, which is not meant for devotees or religious people. Only an empowered personality can distribute the holy name of the Lord and enjoin all fallen souls to worship Krishna. By distributing the holy name of the Lord, he cleanses the hearts of the most fallen people. Therefore, he extinguishes the blazing fire of the material world. Not only that, he broadcasts the shining brightness of Krishna's effulgence throughout the world. Such an acharya or spiritual master should be considered non-different from Krishna. That is, he should be considered the incarnation of Lord Krishna's potency. Such a personality is Krishna Lingita Vigraha. That is, he is always embraced by the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Krishna. So personal, such personal affection. He is always embraced by the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Krishna. Such a person is above the considerations of the Varnashram institution. He is the guru or spiritual master for the entire world. A devotee on the topmost platform, the Mahabhagavat stage, and a Paramahamsa Thakur, a spiritual form only fit to be addressed as Paramahamsa or Thakur. Hare Krishna. Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai.
Right.
Today's the anniversary of Srila Prabhupada's disappearance pastime. It's November 5th, 2024. And there's so much nectar of different emotional flavors to hear from Srila Prabhupada. I thought we can pause at this time in our program and our association if anyone would like to share any comments, realizations, or inspirations, or ask any questions about the philosophy or practice of Krishna consciousness, particularly in connection with the disappearance pastime of pure devotees like Srila Prabhupada. If there's any sharing or questions at this time.
Online, yes.
Right now online, no one's hand is raised. Okay,
Oh, I'll share something.
Mother Devaki.
It was, Hare Krishna. It was when, I first joined in Atlanta in 1975. And that was my first also realization that Srila Prabhupada is always here, whether he's here or not.
When he was there,
When, yeah.
when he came.
Yes. Now, he hadn't arrived yet, and he was arriving at the airport. There was 3 days of staying up and preparing for him. And we were so busy, not sleeping, just working. I was a brand new devotee, and everybody would go down to offer obeisances, and I didn't know what they were saying.
Yeah, there's some.
So I needed somebody to teach it to me. And Harinam, she's here in the community.
Harinam Chintamani.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, she was the first one. When I came in, she pushed me to the floor and said, say Hare Krishna mantra. So that's how I learned the mantra. But she was too busy to teach me obeisances. She says, just go down when you see Srila Prabhupada at the airport and just say the Hare Krishna mantra. I wasn't quite satisfied with that answer, but I said, okay. But I really wanted to learn it. And somebody showed it to me in a book, and I had no idea how to pronounce that Sanskrit. So I couldn't learn it by myself. So we went to the airport. Oh, the night before, there was about 5 minutes when I dozed off in the evening. Everybody was kind of winding down. And I had a beautiful dream. There was this spiral staircase above my head, and I was at the airport. Now we know there's no spiral staircase at the airport, but Srila Prabhupada was walking down it, and I was underneath the staircase. And when his feet went by where my head was, I just got full of ecstasy. It was an unbelievable feeling. We all, I'm sure, have experienced that. And I felt completely like, okay, I'll just say Hare Krishna when I see him, because I was just so ecstatic. So anyways, I never shared this in a group before, but everybody here is like, so the next day we're at the airport, and he's coming. There's all these devotees around him, but you can still see him plain as day, even though he was shorter than most everybody, like floating, or it's just, I was amazed. And I just everybody went down, and I was just getting ready to say Hare Krishna. And all of a sudden, I don't know what you'd call it, because I never had experience with tongues.
Yeah.
But all of a sudden, these words were forced.
They came to you.
And I felt like it was coming from here, like this. And my mouth just went something. I didn't know what I was saying. And we got up, Harinam Dasi was next to me. And she says, Susan, I was Mother Susan.
You were Susan, yeah.
Mother Susan, who taught you that? And I said, what, did I say it? Did I say the, and she says, yes, you did, and you said it perfectly. And I said, well, that was Srila Prabhupada, because I didn't learn it. Prabhupada let me say it. I knew it was Srila Prabhupada. So Prabhupada was there before he even arrived at the airport. He already knew my desire, and he was, not only that, he fulfilled my desire. So I said, okay, Prabhupada's always here. I better be very careful and very sincere. He's always there. Well, I didn't know what I said, so I still had to learn the obeisances.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you, that's nice. Sweet.
Thank you, Mother Devaki. Thanks for your personal, intimate, confidential sharing. Hare Krishna. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prastaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Niti Namine Namaste Sarasvati Deve Gauravani Pacharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Desha Tarine. Thank you, Devaki. Any other sharing or questions? Daneshwar.
I don't want to speak too much, but anyway, nobody else is raising their hand.
We're enlivened by your speech.
Yeah, I'll share one thing that's a message from Srila Prabhupada to everybody. This is when I was just a new bhakta. So Amarinda is teaching us how to offer food to Krishna, and he said, okay. you take
Here in the Gainesville Center?
Yeah.
In Gainesville.
3rd Avenue.
Yeah.
And so you put the plate in front of a picture of Prabhupada and then say the prayers. And so I asked him, well, okay, I could understand if we put the food in front of Krishna. Krishna is everywhere, but the spiritual master, he's localized, he's Jiva. How can he be in all these pictures at the same time to receive this offering? And Amarinda said, well, that's a nice question. Why don't you write to Prabhupada and ask him? So I was really happy because we didn't just write to Prabhupada in those days. We would, if we were authorized, so I was authorized to do that. And so I wrote that question to him. And his response is helpful to know that what I wrote, because if you read the letter, it's in the database. Letter to Bhakta Dan, December 1, 1973.
Bhakta Dan Rus.
So Prabhupada, he replied, he said, the spiritual master is present wherever the disciple is sincerely trying to follow his instructions. This is possible by the mercy of Krishna. In all of your devotional sentiments and in all of your attempts to serve me, I am with you as my Guru Maharaj is with me. Remember this always. So that's a general question. It's a general answer. It's not just for me, it's for all of us. Spiritual master is present wherever we are trying to serve his instructions.
Thanks for sharing that personal letters you exchanged with Srila Prabhupada, and the universal application, Prabhupada's response. I know there's a similar letter Prabhupada writes, maybe to a follower who asked a similar question. Prabhupada says, yes, the pure devotee is empowered to be present in their picture, in their murti, in their form, just as Krishna is empowered. And Prabhupada makes it very clear in that letter that this requires complete purity and special empowerment. And I say that because Srila Prabhupada gave us a particular altar with particular personalities, and all of the personalities that Srila Prabhupada gave us on the altar that he established are completely pure, 100% available and present, completely alive, present. to receive our service, And so Srila Prabhupada's present on altars in hundreds and thousands of places on this planet, including here at the home ashram temple of Naveen Krishna and Mother Madhavi Prabhu's. And so, it points in terms of philosophy and practice that sometimes we see here and there putting this one on the altar, putting a picture of this one and that one over here. So it's not for me to say who is at what level of purity or who has contamination in their heart. We do know 100% for certain that all of the personalities Srila Prabhupada placed on the altar that he established completely pure. And that's why we and of course, as far as the instructions that Srila Prabhupada gave to change the altar or to add pictures of others, he didn't give any such instructions. None, zero, nowhere. So we're happy, satisfied, and honored to serve, worship at the altar that Prabhupada established as it is. If someone chooses to add the pictures of this one or that one, okay, that's their prerogative. And at the same time, if the person whose picture is on the altar, if there's any tinge of material contamination, even a slight tinge to enjoy being appreciated, what to speak of egregious, toxic lower mode effects, then that is idol worship. That is worshiping as spiritual someone or something that is material. And that is the technical term in Vaishnava philosophical terms. The technical term for that is sahajya, trying to pretend that like our material body is a transcendental body like Krishna and the gopis. And then another side of that is Mayavad, because there's many attempts, unfortunately, increasingly prevalent as time goes on. Because one thing is to try to bring ourselves to Prabhupada's transcendental level or Krishna's transcendental level. That's sahajya. And then Mayavad is kind of the other side of the same coin, trying to bring Prabhupada's transcendence down to our material level. And so, yeah,
There's quite a crowd out here. Maybe we can accommodate these devotees somehow.
yeah.
Whoever can sit on the floor might avail
I can
themselves
sit on
of
the floor.
that. So the geriatrics.
Now that's
So
gonna
it's-
make them feel good.
Welcome. Hare Krishna.
Okay.
Yes, we were saying that there's sahajya is everyone comfortably situated. Hare Krishna Bhakti Valerie, welcome. Ram Vigraha Prabhu, good to see you. Hare Krishna. Sahajya, artificially trying to bring matter to spirit, and Mayavad, trying to bring that which is truly spiritual. Sometimes we hear that Srila Prabhupada, or sometimes we'll hear the false claim that Srila Prabhupada is not fully 100% available and present, Ramachandra Guru Hare Krishna, to be one's current direct living link to Sri Krishna's disciplic succession. And so the idea there is that Srila Prabhupada's pure, fully spiritually vibrant Bani instructions and Murti form, that they're material, but that but that one needs a one needs a so-called physically present material body. The idea being, for you to really make spiritual progress, you need to hear from these lips and this tongue and these vocal cords. Okay, so it's confusing that which is material and making it spiritual, and taking Srila Prabhupada's pure spiritual vibration and form and mistaking that for material. Spiritual, by definition, as Prabhupada quoted in some things we read, Dihino smin yata dehe komaram yovinam jara tata dehantara praptir dirastatra namuyate. As the embodied soul continually passes from childhood to youth to old age, the soul similarly passes into another body at the time of death. Spiritual, by definition, means not dependent on anything material, including physical proximity in the same room, physical proximity in the same planet. And to whatever extent we're thinking that spiritual potency, spiritual transformation of heart and consciousness is in any way dependent on anything material, including physical proximity, then we're missing Bhagavad Gita 101. We're missing the first philosophical principle of spiritual life. And that actually constitutes, that is spiritual violence. If in any way to overtly or subtly convey to someone that Srila Prabhupada is not fully 100% present, living, and available to be one's current direct living link to the disciplic succession of Sri Krishna, if in any way we're conveying that to someone, we're doing spiritual violence to them. And so, of course, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, Yare deke tareka Krishna Padesh, Amara Gyagu Hanate Tara Adesh. So, all sincere followers and well-wishers and supporters of Srila Prabhupada, of course, we're meant to be teachers and gurus. My way of endeavoring to be a guru, just to demystify the guru term. Guru means teacher. My way of endeavoring to be a teacher, a guru, is not to try to be the link between someone and Srila Prabhupada. My way to endeavor to be guru is to support, to give my sincere inspiration to support and encourage others to develop their direct, personal, direct connection with Srila Prabhupada as their current, direct, living link to the parampara. Parampara means one after another, the chain of disciplic succession. And that's the role that I endeavor to fulfill in service to Srila Prabhupada as his movement. That is, not that we want to be the link to Prabhupada, but rather we encourage people to develop their personal direct link with Srila Prabhupada, and we give our full enthusiastic efforts in that. Bhaktin Danielle.
Hare Krishna, I'm so moved by all that you're sharing, all that everyone's sharing. It's deeply touching me, and I can't thank you enough, genuinely, for your contributions and especially for your courage in sharing publicly something that was held very precious and privately. Hare Krishna, thank you so much for that. I'm wondering, dear Govinda, if you or anyone could share Dhira, that Dr. George and I have come under attack for our desire to follow Srila Prabhupada directly. And that is something that we are unwavering on our commitment in. One of the tools that has been used to bludgeon us about our decision is Vaisa Puja, and being able to have Vaisa Puja with Srila Prabhupada, who has departed. So I'm wondering if you can explain, or someone can explain, how Vaisa Puja works with Srila Prabhupada having physically departed. And specifically, I'm interested also in the connection of why Vaisa Puja letters are publicized. Like, what is and I love reading them, the historical books that people put out, and even the ones that are currently being put out are beautiful. And I always feel reluctance to participation in such a public format. So I would like some encouragement of understanding why, first, how this happens, that we can participate in Vaisa Puja with Srila Prabhupada physically departed, which I understand the Vapu and Vani, but still I feel like it's not fully connecting for me enough that I could withstand, even though I don't crumble under the assault. I really don't have any good talking points around it. When someone comes up with that personal, attack. And then, why the books are being published and when did that start and how, and I know I've read Srila Prabhupada writing to his spiritual master also. So I know that there's like a long tradition of this, but I'm wondering if we can go there a little bit. I don't know if it's appropriate, but I thought I would ask. Hare Krishna.
Clarification, I didn't quite understand what she was saying. She said one of the things used to bludgeon us. And I didn't quite get that point.
Okay,
If you could explain that before you answer.
thank you. Thank you, Daneshwar Prabhu. So Bhaktin Danielle, Daneshwar asked, and for my clarification, so you're saying that when you kind of like endeavor to celebrate Vyasa Puja, you get criticized by some people? Is that what you're saying?
Yes. And even to have Srila Prabhupada as our current and direct link induces a lot of criticism. And there's many points, this is one of them. On a lot of points, I feel quite stable and feel like I can articulate myself well. And I'm obviously, George and I are not equivocating on our position. But in this particular aspect, about his aliveness to be, engaged in accepting worship, his Vaisa Puja celebration, you know, I just would like some support in that area. Although I think I just need support in that area in general. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Bhaktin Danielle, and I'm moved, appreciative, and inspired by you and Bhakti George and Bhaktin Saraswati there in your household in putting Prabhupada in the center of your lives. And I'm going to announce that when they are establishing a project called Bhakti Orthodontics. George is an orthodontist, and they're establishing a Bhakti-centered, Prabhupada-centered orthodontist practice in Orlando. I just needed to announce that because you're sharing. Okay, it's true. Yeah, it's so everyone who connects there will get Krishna consciousness. So thanks for your questions. Thanks for your questions. So Vyasa Puja, Puja indicates service, honor, worship. Vyasa indicates Srila Vyasadeva. And so our current link to the Parampara, Srila Prabhupada, so he's fully representing Vyasadeva. He's Vyasadev's the literary incarnation of Krishna, and Prabhupada's fully 100% purely and creatively and innovatively and boldly representing Vyasadeva. So just like, it's common in this world, we celebrate birthdays, people birthday. So we can say it's the birthday of Srila Prabhupada, the Vyasa Puja, and today is Prabhupada's disappearance day. As we shared earlier, technically, for the pure devotee, like Srila Prabhupada, we don't say birthday or death, and we say appearance day and disappearance day, because these are not births and deaths born of the modes of material nature. They're fully transcendently enacted pastimes out of compassion and godly mission. And so naturally, so we endeavor to make Srila Prabhupada's appearance day the most important day. The most, because this is our great fortune that he chose to appear in co-creation with Krishna to relieve us of the miseries of the embarrassment of material existence. And so yeah, so for Srila Prabhupada to receive honor and service and worship on his Vyasa Puja day, he was as available for that in 1978 as he was in 1977 or 1967, and he's as available for that in 2024. That's it. He's fully available in his Bapu and Bani forms. As far as Srila Prabhupada's instructions to within his movement to celebrate the Vyasa Puj anniversaries of others, there aren't any instructions. As you can see, I use this technique a lot. Okay. So similarly, so someone can say it's just like, yeah, well, we add this picture to the altar. We say these additional pranam mantras, and you're really deviant for not doing that. So again, so we're following Prabhupada. We're following Prabhupada. Prabhupada's instructions to add, to say pranam mantras other than the ones he taught us. He taught Mother Devaki through some mystical spiritual process. Prabhupada's instructions to add pranam mantras for others, other than the pranam mantras he gave us for himself and previous acharyas, there are no such instructions. So if someone wants to add them and whatever, okay. But if we want to follow Prabhupada, it would seem that those who are following Prabhupada, as far as pranams, pictures on the altar, Vyasa Puja, Prabhupada didn't give any instructions to add pictures or pranams or pictures on the altar for someone else who will be the current link to him. So someone who's just following Prabhupada as he gave it, as he established pranams, pictures, Vyasa Puja. So it's simple. We're following Prabhupada, and if someone's doing something else, I wish them well. If they're not at least respecting and honoring you and the members of your household for following Prabhupada as it is, and he gave no instruction to add or change or concoct, none. So if someone's not respecting you, then that does not need to be your problem, and maybe they have a problem.
I really appreciate that point about this just being clearly what Prabhupada instructed and just following what Prabhupada instructs, not needing to be any more conflated than that. It's an answer in itself. That's very supportive. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Bhakti Danya. Hare Krishna. Hari Hari Bol, Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Okay.
Something.
Ram Vigraha Prabhu, good to see you.
Nice seeing you. Can I say something about Srila Prabhupada's story of Srila Prabhupada? Can I?
Please. Yeah.
I met Srila Prabhupada in Mexico in 1975.
Yeah.
And, first time I went to the Mexico temple, it was 1974 November.
Yeah.
And Lilamrta Maharaj was the new GDC for Latin America. And then he wanted to open more temples. There was only one in Mexico, one in Argentina. And the Prabhu who was in charge in Argentina, he was a sannyas, and then he got married. And that's how Lilamrta was named.
Yeah.
And so the first time that I went to the temple, Lilamrta wanted to open temples all over, and I'm from El Salvador. So he gave me 2 devotees, books, and I bought some incense and paraphernalia.
Yeah.
And we went back and opened a small temple. And, but then, but the first devotee that I met was in 1972.
Yeah.
That was Hanuman, from Canada.
Hanuman from Canada.
He was coming through Central America.
Yeah.
And I met him, and that's how I got to know Krishna consciousness.
Through Hanuman.
It's through Hanuman. Yes, he came with 2 brahmacharis, and then we became acquainted. And he said he invited me to go back with him to Mexico. He said, I want to open a temple here, or if you want to wait. I said, wait. And then Mahavira, came in 1974, August 1974. And then he was staying in a Hatha Yoga center.
Yeah.
And those were my friends. And one day I go and visit, and when I step in, I see a little altar, with Panchatattva, a picture of Panchatattva. And my friends came to see, and I said, hey, that's Lord Krishna. And I said, oh, we have a Hare Krishna devotee staying with us. And that was Mahavira. And so Mahavira came and he said, I need a place to stay. And I said, I have an apartment if you want to come and see. And he said, because they want me to get out of here, because I tell them that his guru is Pakora Guru, and they don't like it, so they are asking me out. Anyways, Mahavira stayed some time and then went to Open Brazil. But what I want to get back is that Hanuman appeared one day. The devotees from Argentina were coming. They met at the little temple that I have. And Hanuman came from Canada with a large band. And he said, Srila Prabhupada is coming next week. Do you want to come? And that's how, I went with all of them. But at that time, there was some politics. When I went to Lilamrta, he gave all support. And then I know Hanuman and I like Hanuman. But then I'm listening that they have some politics, And so the two groups, they were saying that we go to Srila Prabhupada, Hanuman and Lilamrta. And then because we were writing letters, Srila Prabhupada was giving different instructions. And then, but they say, can you mediate? And Srila Prabhupada said, okay, come tomorrow after breakfast and we'll talk. And so they came in and Srila Prabhupada finished his breakfast, washed his hands. And he said, okay. He said, so you offer obeisances to each other. So they keep the floor, offer obeisances to each other. And he said, now you hug. They hug each other. He said, now go to preach. And they had, pages and pages of argument. Lilamrta also had. And so Srila Prabhupada was very proud.
Srila Prabhupada's completely transcendental conflict resolution.
Yeah.
That's sweet. That's sweet.
And then if I can say something else, Hanuman one day asked Srila Prabhupada, he said, Prabhupada, I feel that because I left sannyas, I feel that maybe you reject me. And Srila Prabhupada went silence, for a few seconds, closed his eyes, and then he said, because he brought the Chaitanya Mahaprabhu,
Yeah.
with this, what was Junior
Haridas.
Junior
Yeah.
Haridas.
Junior
Right?
Haridas. Yeah.
So, and that's what Hanuman said. And then Srila Prabhupada then opened his eyes and he says, Lord Chaitanya is Sri Krishna himself. He doesn't need anybody. But I'm a simple servant of the Lord, and I need everything. So that was also a show of Srila Prabhupada mercy. He was ready to take everybody, all of us. And
Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Hare Krishna.
You the what time should people in the Samadana, and then I started 12. Like 5 minutes and somebody can chant.
So 5 minutes till kirtan and arti, is that the program?
And I don't think the Garthi is just.
Okay, flowers, nice. Okay,
Pushing some sort. No, yeah. No. Experience.
okay, so
Would you like put it in? I'm getting.
any other sharing at this time? Comments, questions, sharing?
Focus.
Hare Krishna.
And the book, can you hand the songbook to Ganesh?
Yeah. Thank you. Okay, so I'll read one more passage from Srila Prabhupada. Okay. All right. So this is Srila Prabhupada writing to Rai Ram, June 12th, 1968. Prabhupada's writing from Montreal. So Prabhupada writes, this is early in the movement, 1968, early in the movement in the West. My dear Rai Ram, please accept my blessings. I thank you very much for your letter of June 9th, 1968. And it is very kind of you that you are seriously thinking about Krishna consciousness movement and trying to engage yourself more and more seriously. My blessings are always with you. You are a very sincere boy, trying your best to serve Krishna, and by his grace, you are quite fit for this business. And considering all these points, I have entrusted back to Godhead in your hand. Rai Ram was an early editor of Prabhupada's Back to Godhead magazine. Because this paper is the beginning of my spiritual life, Prabhupada first published Back to Godhead on his own in 1944. During the war, he went through great struggle to get paper because the Indian government was rationing paper at the time of the war. So Prabhupada's 1944 Back to Godhead. He said that was the beginning of my spiritual life. That's what Prabhupada describes. During the time of my Guru Maharaj's passing away, his last instruction was to me that you try to preach whatever you have learned from me in English, and that will do good to you and the people who will hear you. This instruction was given to me in 1936, and I started this paper in 1944. So during my household life, I was printing this paper and almost distributing free, and some of them were paying me subscription and some of them not. But I was trying my best at my cost. You have seen the old articles about my tendency in this regard, and please try to follow this principle and improve the condition of this paper as you think best. You have got full liberty to make it acceptable to the general public, keeping pace with our principles of Krishna consciousness. And as I have told you several times that I am awaiting for the day when this paper will take the shape of Life magazine or similar other magazines in the matter of its popularity. From India, this paper has been brought to America with this hope that American young boys like you will take interest in spreading the sublime gospel of Krishna consciousness. Hare Krishna. Prabhupada expressing how dear Back to Godhead magazine is to him. Okay. One more. Maybe more than one. We'll see. But at least one more. So this is a morning walk, June 11th, 1976 in Los Angeles. Prabhupada said, this Indian National Army, when attacked, at least made a show of attack from Impala, especially on Calcutta, drop bombs, and the whole Calcutta became vacant. Perhaps myself and a few others remained. I sent my sons. Of course, daughter was married, but they sent to Navadvip, Sridhar Maharaj's ashram. My wife refused to go out of Calcutta. She said, I'll be bum maybe, but I'll not go out. And Prabhupada laughs. So I had to remain in Calcutta. So I've seen bombing in Calcutta all vacant. And one day I was eating in the evening at night, immediately bombing kachori. I was hungry, laughs, but the eating finished. That's a pastime Prabhupada describes during World War II. He describes here and other places that he was in Calcutta. Calcutta was being evacuated because there was bombing. So, but Prabhupada and his wife, they did not leave. So one day there was bombing like right in that neighborhood, and neighbors came, said, Abai, you need to get out. And Prabhupada was, I'm honoring Kachori Prashadam, and I'm going to keep doing that and fully trusting Krishna and Krishna's Prashadam. Srila Prabhupada ki. Namo Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prastaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Niti Namine Namaste Sarasvati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Desha Tarine. Hare Krishna. So now we'll go to Kirtan.
We have 5 minutes, then we're going to do the offering, and then we will be fine.
So we start in 5 minutes from now?
Let's do the offering. That will give us.
Okay.
Then in 5 minutes.
Okay.
We can
Keep the kata. Would anyone like to share or ask anything at this time? We're reading from Srila Prabhupada, Lilamrta as it is. Amrita means eternal nectar, and Lila means pastime. Anandini.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
I'm appreciating a lot all the sharings and what you're reading, and it helps me to prepare for our program here, which starts in about an hour. And I just want to share something that's, to me, feels very special, how Srila Prabhupada, like how his teachings and message is spread into the world in like ways that are sometimes maybe hard to see or hard to tell or so I was teaching a workshop.
Just for context, Anandini is sharing in Switzerland, and she and her family will be hosting a Prabhupada Disappearance pastime celebration or program in about an hour there in Switzerland evening time. Please continue, Anandini.
Yeah, so I was teaching a workshop for teachers.
Yeah.
At an ordinary school, and I presented Srila Prabhupada's guidelines on raising children, so
Yes.
to protection and encourage autonomy.
Yes.
And that was my main focus in this workshop. And a few days ago, I received the school's new description. They have a description on the website and what's
Yes.
their philosophy, and there it's written on their website, what we endeavor is to create a protected space for children to develop their autonomy. And I felt so happy because it's, it's such a simple instruction and it makes sense to anyone. And yeah, I just wanted to share that here.
Thank you, Anandini.
How Srila Prabhupada, his message is carried into the world and accepted and embraced and appreciated as, wow, this is something amazing. It's so simple. It's so practical.
Jai Srila Prabhupada. Thank you, Anandini, for surrendering yourself and dedicating yourself to be an instrument for Srila Prabhupada, to work through you, to bring Krishna consciousness to the educational institutions and establishment there in Switzerland. So you presented those two essential interplay of principles Prabhupada gave for raising children, encourage autonomy, and provide protection. And so you're You're giving Srila Prabhupada in the language of the professional educators, and they're receiving it, and now they're sharing it. They're sharing it widely. Very wonderful. Very wonderful. Thanks for sharing. Hare Krishna. I know when I was in my graduate programs in the 90s, I would we would have like we would have course in like community organizing, or even things I wasn't much interested in. We'd write a paper on politics or something, and I would always endeavor to just give Srila Prabhupada, because Prabhupada said there's a whole chapter in the Bhagavatam entitled "Bhagavatam is the answer to all questions." So you want politics? It's in the Bhagavatam. You want community organize? It's in the Bhagavatam. Of course, if you want like what is the actual welfare for the happiness? It's all in Bhagavad Gita. It's all in Bhagavatam. And so we would there was one. Some of you may have heard me tell this, but we had a professor, Jerry O'Connor. This was 1995, and he actually wrote a major textbook in the field of community organizing. And he was in his mid-60s at that time, so that was 1995. I don't know what's happening with Jerry now, but anyhow, one day he embarrassed me because he announced to the class, he said, you have a genius in this class. Now, he was referring to me, and I know that I'm definitely no genius, but he said that, he's graded thousands and thousands of papers. And he said, I never saw a paper like this one given by David Wolf. I'm just on some boring topic, community organizing. But he was getting the light of the Bhagavad. He was presenting it in the language of social science. He was getting
facetious or serious?
What?
When he was praising you, that was being facetious?
He was serious.
Serious.
In fact, yeah, and he called me, said, look, I've never seen anything like this, because it was just shining out in ways that no other of the thousands of papers he'd graded had ever seen. In fact, all the professors were doing that. And in fact, I had no plans at that time to do a PhD. But then the professors, they kind of surrounded me one day, and they said, like, you have so much to offer to the world. We don't know where you're getting what you're given. We don't know where I was just shamelessly plagiarizing everything from Prabhupada. But they were just, we don't know where we're getting what you're given, but you have so much to offer to the world. And it came to the point because sometimes, like, to encourage someone, they'll give them a teaching assistantship, where instead of tuition you can teach. They didn't give me a teaching assistantship. They didn't just give me a tuition waiver. They arranged, in addition to not paying any tuition, they basically, the university paid me $60,000 to do my PhD. Jai Srila Prabhupada. Now, and they said, whatever you're doing, just give it to us straight. And so the professors fully so that's why my projects were like developing the Vedic personality inventory, a psychological personality assessment based on the 3 gunas as described in the ancient Bhagavatam. I was going to do my dissertation on something else, just to kind of get through it, and then I could do it. I was going to just on something, crunch some statistics on a foster care system. So I was talking to my major professor. His name is Dr. Neil Abel, and I was talking about my dissertation idea. So he looked at me and he said, I won't support you in that. I want you to do your dissertation on something that you're enthused about, something that brings you to life, that inspires you. So I was like, oh. So then he said, I've seen you walking around campus holding some cloth bag and muttering. He said, you seem to really be excited about this cloth bag and muttering. So I said, yeah, that's really exciting for me. And he said, you should use dissertation on that. So I was completely in Maya. And Prabhupada spoke through Neil Abel. And so that became the Maha Mantra dissertation. Prabhupada spoke through Neil Abel. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Hare Krishna.
Remember when I first met you in 98,
We actually
98, 99?
we actually met in 1992 in Miami, and you drove me and some of the Israeli
Oh.
devotees back to North
No, I'm
Florida.
talking about when we met here.
Oh, here, yeah,
Yeah.
late 90s, yeah.
And you told me you were doing studying sociology or psychology. And
Social work,
I
sociology.
was asking, please do your something about the gunas.
That's right, yeah, yeah, you encouraged me.
Yeah.
I appreciate it,
So you combine that with his suggestion for change.
Yeah.
Wonderful.
appreciate it. Hare Krishna. So, again, as we kind of started about an hour and a half ago, it can be an apparent contradiction, disappearance day. At the same time, Srila Prabhupada has not disappeared, he's fully present. And so, are we ready to continue?
We are ready to make that, right?
Okay. So-
Okay.
I-
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
So we're gonna the transcendental prasad preparers have prepared an offering for Srila Prabhupada here on the anniversary of his disappearance day. So it is a festival. At the same time, it's a different mood than, let's say, the appearance day of the pure devotee, or a different mood than Govardhan Puja, when it was about a week ago when we dance around Govardhan Hill. So in transcendental spiritual life, there's like all of the variety of human emotion that's there in material life is there in spiritual life, but with much more variety and with full aliveness. In fact, the material emotion, it's just like the shadow. It's just the shadow of real spiritual emotion. So each of the different holidays or festivals have their natural different emotion. And Prabhupada's disappearance past day, there's a solemnness. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna.
Start with a little kirtan.
I can give a little anecdote that I sometimes say during Prabhupada's appearance or disappearance.
Yes.
I was in India, and
Yeah.
of course, so many, population pressure in India, right? There's
Yeah.
people everywhere. I was on the train platform in Puri. And I was looking across to the other platform. So many faceless Indians, unlimited Indians. And I was imagining that I was 1956 or something like that. And on the other side, here's one elderly Indian, another Indian. And that person, he decides that he's going to change the world. And I'm thinking, what audacity. Who? Any of us, right? I'm gonna change the world. I'm gonna do something. But nobody thinks like that, right? But this one person did. And not by his own power, but by presenting Krishna, who is all attractive. So I say, what audacity and what great faith. And then I thought, the next thought that came, what if he didn't come?
Srila Prabhupada ki jai.
Right.
Yeah, Prabhupada writes, he signs it like your ever well wisher. Is your ever wisher because as you said, that is right. He's giving us Krishna, and that's we can be true friends to others by giving them Prabhupada. That's how we can be someone's true well-wisher. Otherwise, it's probably sentimental. Hare Krishna, Yogeshwar Prabhu. Thanks for joining us online. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, thank you for the program. I wanted to join for the whole time, but I had something, so I disconnected and connected back.
Glad you're here.
I remember Srila Prabhupada saying the perfection of preaching is to deliver the message of your spiritual master unchanged in your own words.
Yeah.
So everybody has their own words, but normally they're speculative words. If we can just make sure we can give that message without changing the essence of the message.
Prabhupada also gave me that instruction. The other part of the letter that I got. I asked him, because I just finished my master's degree, that's a little thinking, how can I use my scientific credentials in Christian service?
Yeah.
This was before the days of BI.
Yes.
So I wrote to Prabhupada and I asked him like that, and I suggested an experiment that the Bhagavad Gita says that it's the moonshine that supplies the succulence and the flavor to the fruits and vegetables.
Yes.
And so I said, perhaps we can do an experiment like this, and this way prove to the scientists the validity of Bhagavad Gita. The Prabhupada replied to that. He said, we're not really interested in convincing the scientists of anything, because after all, if they choose to remain atheistic, what can we do? Our main aim is to convince the innocent people that life comes from life and not from matter. Prabhupada said, so you preach Krishna consciousness in your scientific language. And this way, try to convince people.
Thanks for sharing that letter you personally received from Srila Prabhupada. Thank you, Mother Devaki, for again that emphasis on in your own words. There's a letter from December 1972. Prabhupada writing to a follower, and Prabhupada says something similar to what we just quoted. He said that the topmost development of your Krishna consciousness is shown by the extent of your capacity to share these universal principles in such a way that others will get it. He has many letters where he says, yeah, in your own words. So I'm seeing that Prabhupada's giving the essence of empathy, that preaching or sharing Krishna consciousness, it's not just about slapping on something, but it's about being so realized in the principles given to us by Srila Prabhupada and inspired in us by Super Soul, that we're able to communicate, whether we're speaking to a group of yogi practitioners or a group of university professors or on the street or agriculturalists or business people or hippies, that whoever we're speaking to, we're able to find the words and the nonverbals and the tone of voice and the examples, and we're able to find the words to communicate. And that's what Prabhupada said, that's like the measure of your advancement in Krishna consciousness. How effective are you to communicate these principles so that whoever you're speaking to, they're going to respond positively. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Yeah, it's good.
Giving what she knows. Oh,
Yeah, that is preaching.
attitude.
Yeah.
Is there a cartel?
As it is in the
Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Pristaya Bhutale Srimati Bhakti Vedanta Swami Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Ram,
Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram